Hey, it's Junior's Papaya Gang. It's a live stream with Ben Soronko and
Out
me.
here on the sunny West Coast.
And I'm in the East Coast. We also have Mr. I Have Five Hat. So this is me and Ben talking about Joan of Arc. We're going to talk about every single Joan of Arc song.
For the uninitiated, Joan of Arc is a they're a Chicago post rock slash emo band. Uh, so that's really all we need to say about that.
They're very famously hated by
Pitchfork.
critics. Yeah. I went to an American football show, and someone that I barely knew, who was someone who was like hanging out with a friend of mine, and was just like, "Oh my god, that first band was awful." And American football is playing with Joan of Arc. Joan of Arc opened, and
Said it wasn't music.
yeah, they said it wasn't music, and I don't think they realized that Joan of Arc was the reason that I was there in the first place. And we got in an argument later, and then I stopped seeing them around a little bit.
Ruins friendships. Joan of Arc
Anyway,
is really like it's a litmus test.
it really is. Anyways, we're going to be talking about Who's Afraid of Elizabeth Taylor, and we're both going to listen to it at the same time on our headphones, and then have a discussion.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's do 3, 2, 1. Go.
Really good head bobbing music.
Mm-hmm.
You look so joyful.
It's a joyful song. Right now it is.
Yeah, it's very pleasant. It's kind of like a Pro Tools loop. Very clean.
They're very crisp, especially that.
Yeah. It's like one of my favorite parts of the song.
That's really the only distinguishable thing.
It's the only way of, yeah, marking time at first.
Some fluttering of electronics in there.
Real nice subdued drumming too.
Is that Mike Kinsella?
No. It actually isn't. I think this was the band that they're most pared down. This was when they were only 3 people because one guy quit because he didn't like the direction.
What? It says, I'm looking at the Wikipedia, and it says Mike Kinsella was in the band at this point, but maybe this is not him on the.
They talk about there's I think it was it might have been an AV Club article where they like are talking about their favorite albums, and I know that he refers to it as being like a stripped back part. And there was somebody who quit the band right before this, so maybe I'm wrong about.
Was it Sam Zurich?
I don't know if it was Sam Zurich or some other guy named Todd, but I could be wrong.
I don't think Todd was in the band yet. Maybe Todd just joined for this album.
Interesting.
Todd Vitelli.
What I do know is that somewhere I got the idea that this was one of their most like favorite songs, like one of the ones that like people like fan favorite songs.
Who's Afraid of Elizabeth Taylor?
Yeah, and that's how I first got into it because I was trying to figure out like how to get into Joan of Arc. Oh yeah, this. I think that if I'm looking at what you're looking at, I'm pretty sure that's just like everybody who's been in the band.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can find out. Oh,
Oh, yeah.
singing started. Okay, mind if I screen share for a sec?
Go ahead. Yeah.
All right, enough about that. It's a big climax.
Yeah.
Sometimes live, I've noted they repeat that line even more than they do in the song.
Sorry, what?
I know sometimes live they continuously repeat that line instead of just
Yeah.
the set number of times that they do it here. All right.
Oh, did we actually finish at the same time?
Yeah, we did a good job of syncing up.
Hold on, I'm
Like-
gonna unplug so Dennis can hear.
Yeah, I like that. You know, Dennis is the only one of us who's actually lived in Chicago, which is where Joan of Arc is from.
That's true. Yeah, I lived in Chicago for like 5 years, but I've never listened to Joan of Arc. So.
Have you listened to this song before?
Yeah, Blake played it a little bit earlier. That was the first time I heard it.
Okay, what did you think it was about without thinking about it?
You know, I wasn't paying enough attention to the lyrics. All I really can tell you is that the song title has to do with it.
Well, maybe that's the meaning. Maybe that's it. How about you, Blake?
What do I think this song is about?
Yeah. What do you think the song is about?
What is it about to me? It's about leading youth. That's what it's about to me.
No, that's not what it's about. You're wrong.
I feel like there's a certain like, especially when he's talking about if he was a filmmaker and he can't speak French, right?
Yeah.
Something about that feels like wasted time to me.
Because it would be a waste of time to make a film that's not in French.
Well, the fact that he didn't learn French.
You know, sometimes I regret that I didn't learn French. I took Spanish in high school.
Je suis.
La jeune fille. You know what that means?
I don't remember.
It means the little girl.
Oh,
The only reason I know that is because there used to be commercials for language learning books, and the girl in the commercial would say, "Je suis la jeune fille."
I like the little girl.
Wait, doesn't it mean I am the little girl?
Oh yeah.
Well, you know, that's the kind of miscommunication that I think this song is a little bit about, to some degree. But I mostly just think it's actually like a very straightforward romanticization of what film is as being distinct from theater. Like most of the lyrics are him explaining what the difference is between acting for film and stage.
I was just told that, I don't know how to pronounce French very well, but Joan or whatever means young. So that makes it even creepier, actually.
Means what?
Young, specifically young.
Oh, yeah, that is creepy.
Yeah, I definitely get that. But what is it really like? What is the emotion that it's trying to convey? Because while you have these lyrics that are about the differences between stage and film, there's definitely a mood that's conveyed.
Yeah,
that isn't just. It isn't. I feel like the music makes the lyrics actually not direct.
yeah. Well, it gives him a weird tone, is what I'll say. But like when I look at it, it's like, yeah, it's strange that he starts with one wishbone to pick with you, because that's like, I'm gonna like start a fight with you. But the song is so subdued and so pleasant, and you know,
I don't know if it's pleasant.
well, but it's like what I'm saying is it's like it sounds pleasant, right? Like Tim can scream and express rage, but he's just like a quiet whisper. This is like one of the quietest Tim Kinsella songs, and
well, I feel like this is discomfort in a way. It's like restrained, and I feel for Tim Kinsella, this is actually uncomfortable in a way. Like he's forcing himself to do this, and I think that's kind of a mistake. A lot of the Pitchfork reviews I've read have made about Tim Kinsella is like a laziness. Like they really attribute Tim to being lazy.
Oh yeah.
And I feel like definitely yelling is one sort of way of exerting yourself, right?
Yeah.
I think being like as quiet and as like constrained as possible is another sort of discomfort.
Yeah, well, and that also uses energy, because I feel like they always describe him as low energy. But to me, maintaining this kind of like calm is important, and it's like it takes a certain amount of exertion just to do that. Also, just to kind of like fit in all the syllables that he fits into lyrics. I mean, like he says some pretty crazy stuff in this song, without it ever actually sounding like it's that crazy, which I think is an accomplishment.
Yeah, he's almost a rapper.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'd go that far, but I mean, actually, on some songs, yeah, but like not this era of Joan of Arc.
I think he's approaching it. I see it.
Yeah,
I see it coming in all of his songs.
Actually, yeah, you know, there are some later songs in Live in Chicago 1999 that do have more of a like, kind of like an explicit, like, kind of like choppy cadence. Like I would attribute to like more like hip hop rhyming rather than this sort of flowy singing that he does throughout a lot of the album.
Right.
But yeah, there's like the two things though that like I think are the most interesting parts about this song are the fact that like the climactic moment is when he sings I can't drive tonight. Like they sing that line over and over and over again, and I'm trying to figure out
Live,
what.
especially when they play it live.
Yeah, especially when they play it live. So I'm wondering if because it comes at a part where he's saying now in this scene make believe like like he's like a director,
Mm-hmm.
but maybe he's just like a drunken angry director.
Well, okay, so you're taking these lyrics very literally. I take a lot of his kind of abstract lyrics. So okay, so maybe this is bringing it back a little bit, but I feel like calling Joan of Arc an emo band is contentious and accurate at the same point. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I would agree.
And I feel like I feel like saying that these lyrics are straightforward.
Well, I guess I just mean like to me it seems like there's more than most Joan of Arc songs. There's kind of like an actual arc to these lyrics. Like it sounds like the start of a conversation and like an explanation of things. It's like, hey,
Joan of Arc.
Yeah, a Joan of Arc, exactly. Because he's just like, hey, all right, look, you're not acting correctly. Let me explain to you the differences between film and theater, okay? And here's the thing. Here's the scene, and this is what I want you to do. Also, I can't drive tonight, and every photograph hides a mirror in its flash, which to me makes me think like, it's some kind of a suggestion that the director is it doesn't matter what the director is taking a picture of, but like there's some little part of them in there. So it's to me, I'm thinking about this as a song where there's kind of like a narrator almost. Like he's a director, he's mad at the actress, he's like, do this correctly, this is my movie. But then there's like, and I would only want to make a film if it was in French and I don't speak French. That might just be like another line.
Self-defeating.
Yeah, I mean, also the fact that the song is called "Who's Afraid of Elizabeth Taylor." It's like who's afraid of the actress, right? Like maybe the director would be afraid of the actress, or maybe not. Like it implies a relationship between a director and an actress, I guess.
Feels very controlling with that song.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's like an admission of being controlling.
Yeah. Interesting.
Any final thoughts, Dennis?
Yeah, I was reading some of the lyrics.
What's your favorite lyric?
No, it's hard. I was thinking when I was reading these lyrics that I wish I could hear the song again because I feel like at least the way they're written is all it's like just one paragraph. I don't know if that's just this website or if that's the way the lyrics are.
I think that's the style that he does.
Yeah,
I could tell like when you guys were saying that that line was I can't drive tonight was like felt like it was emphasized.
Yeah, he says it. He says it like
3 or 4 times.
Yeah,
and then live they'll like draw it out and like change the melody on that one line.
So yeah, it's hard to like just parse like what is emphasized and what is not. I feel like there's a lot lost in this.
That's true. I think especially with Tim Kinsella lyrics, because often what I like the most about his lyrics is when you read them versus when you hear them, they have these double meanings that you wouldn't understand if you just had heard them or just read them. Because he'll like punctuate things in a specific way where they definitely mean both things, or like maybe mean more of one thing than what they usually would.
Yeah, or it's like maybe he might be doubling up the meaning too, based on like something that he as the artist, right, is singing, but also that the character in the song is saying. Like, and then it's like a third layer in this one because in theory the character in the song is describing a character to somebody, and like I can't drive tonight is a line that he says before he gets in a taxi. So it's like three possible meanings of I Can't Drive Tonight simultaneously.
And that's a loaded line too, because
Well, it comes right after the line about like, where's a loose butt drunk from the rocks, so it's like it implies that he can drive.
yeah, he's just drunk the entire time he's directing.
Yeah, I mean, well, there are a lot of alcoholic filmmakers, and a lot of alcoholic filmmakers, I think, could um, express criticism in a kind of creepy sort of way. There's also the fact that like the song itself kind of sounds a little sad, and like you could almost imagine like an inebriated person singing this kind of sad song.
I just also like how that line is punctuated in such a way where, you're just like you're talking a bunch and you're like explaining yourself a lot in a conversation, and it gets to a point where you're just tired of talking, and then the "I can't drive tonight" part just feels like I'm done explaining myself.
Yeah.
Which is like not added meaning, but added intention.
I wonder who's supposed to be saying, and I would only make a film if it was in French.
That's interesting.
Because like obviously it's not the director who like is the character in this, because like they're a director, so clearly they're making a film.
Is it Tim?
Might be.
I feel like I still feel like the character thing is kind of loose, and he's talking about all this stuff metaphorically, like directly metaphorically. Then it's like,
yeah, I mean, I agree. It's like loose. I just mean like to me it seems like there's an ambiguous narrator. That's what I mean. Like I don't know at any one moment if it's like meant to be the character or Tim, because you could also like think about it this way, like. Why would you only want to make a film if it was in French? Like maybe because you find the French language kind of beautiful, but like also you don't speak French, so you don't understand beauty. So maybe it's this kind of like weird miscommunication between two people.
I also I think another one thing that's generally misunderstood about Joan of Arc is their pretension, as it were. And I feel like they're often making fun of the idea of pretension.
Yeah.
Like, along with kind of being what is considered pretentious, like the fact that the album cover is from, it's like a recreation of The Weeknd. What is it? Godard's Weekend?
Yeah, it's Godard's Weekend. Which also is like, I think, I could be wrong about the exact dates, but I do think Tim Kinsella was in a master's program for film around this time. So it seems to me like film maybe is like also just like a vessel for a lot of other things, like thinking about film theoretically.
Right.
So like, yeah, like I tend to agree. Like I think like he's basically using this kind of like loose story about a director trying to give direction as maybe more of like a metaphor for some kind of a miscommunication. Right. And then like the thing is that like what's funny about like pretension, right, is that pretension is sort of a miscommunication in a way. It's like putting up these like symbols of intelligence that you don't fully understand in place of an actual, like saying something. Right. Which is also like really funny because it seems to me like the director of the movie in these lyrics is like he doesn't really say a whole lot until he actually says like just what this is what you need to do. Like he says a lot of theoretical stuff, but
Yeah,
but then what's funny is that only somebody who actually kind of understands like all of this kind of semiotic interplay, like actually understands it, would really write a song like this, in my opinion. So that actually kind of negates the idea that it's pretentious, because like he's not pretending, right? It's not putting on airs. It's like a very real song.
Right. It's also, I feel like it's also kind of making fun of people. Like,
yeah,
the whole holding all this stuff high and taking it so seriously. Like the fact that he recreated all these scenes from this movie is like, it's kind of like it's kind of fandom, and it's kind of the way in which they're created. They're not exact. They're pretty close, but they kind of look a little shitty.
Yeah, it's like art film cosplay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, also
ridiculous.
Well, so that's another thing is like thinking about the idea of like a drunk director, right? Like that's like somebody who is bound to be pretentious, but is also kind of bumbling at the same time. So to me, I guess like that's also like that thing where it's like, oh, this is a revered director, but this director is also kind of a fool. Which like actually is like a thing that Vladimir Nabokov does a lot, which is kind of like depict a bumbling like professor. Usually, it's like this professor is kind of like really smart about one thing, and then just the rest of their life is kind of a wreck, and they're terrible and kind of stupid. So, yeah, I like that idea that he's like making fun of pretension while being kind of pretentious.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah,
great song. I just really like the. I feel like you and I talk about we should explain this, and then just we just explain it here, and then we don't explain it ever again. But the idea of the emo math rock drop.
Oh yeah, yes. I think other people are aware of this, like anecdotally anyway.
Mm-hmm. But it's basically the concept of like it happens a lot in Joan of Arc and there's like Kinsella-esque.
Yeah, anything that has like kind of like the arpeggios and stuff. Like generally when a more rhythmic moment pops in to what otherwise seems like a very twinkly textural part, that's the math rock drop.
Well, it's like they usually like build it up and it's like repeating, and then it gets more textural.
Yeah,
little, like or like shifts or like maybe some drums get added.
Well, like how they did it on I think the way that it's most easily explained is in the new American football song, "Give Me the Gun," and like what I was going to say about this is because a while ago now. Well, yeah, I guess it did come out a while ago now, but it's like it's new American football, not old American football, basically. But like the thing is that they added a bass player, and so I feel like they used that to do math rock drops on that album, like where it's like, oh, we're just gonna have a couple, like like three different, maybe a couple or three different like twinkly guitars and like kind of the slow drumming, but then like all of a sudden it's like a bass line drops in and suddenly like shit goes wild. Or at least as wild as like an American football song can go. And I feel like with Tim though, how he'll do it is like it's usually like more of like a lyric thing that like kind of indicates it, which I think is interesting.
Yeah,
and that's like the Drive Tonight thing.
Yeah, there's kind of another one too. There's kind of two of them because there kind of aren't. There's kind of not a lot of lyrics for most of the song, and the lyrics kind of kick in.
Yeah.
And then the I Can't Drive Tonight is like kind of like a climax, right?
There's something very post-rock and very emo though about using lyrics or a voice as like a means of a drop. Like actually, it's funny because like the American football using a bass to do that is a little more typical, or like it makes me think of Red Hot Chili Peppers or something, even though like it doesn't sound anything like that. But like they would do like a bass drop, whereas like
a real band
like Joan of Arc uses lyrics, their words, their intelligence.
I also like that we can use this as a vehicle to just. I like that we're just. I know this isn't true, and I like American football, but I like the idea of us being dogmatically like Joan of Arc is the best band.
Well, they are.
Oh yeah.
I've become more aware of this the more that I've listened to them, and I think it's really like an elite group of people that enjoy Joan of Arc, as we've found through the many Joan of Arc concerts we've been to.
They're really
you look around and it's like I can't identify what kind of person comes to this or what kind of person knows about Joan of Arc. It's really just a Joan of Arc fan.
Some real weirdos.
It's very strange. It's very unsettling, and I highly recommend it to anybody who may or may not be watching this.
Yeah.
I was curious though about the math rock track that you guys were talking about. What part of this song do you sing that?
What was the question? I couldn't quite hear it.
Where's the math rock drop in this song?
I feel like there's, like Blake was saying, I think there's two, which is one is when the lyrics come in at all, because there's a very large build up to that. The second one is
a simple song. Like it's a 6 minute 30-second song. And the lyrics drop in, and that kind of like adds to the rhythm.
Yeah, it adds to the rhythm, because like literally I'll be listening to this song while like cooking dinner,
and nothing's happening.
And when that pops in, when the lyrics pop in, I start to dance. It's great.
Yeah, I think if you rewatch this stream, there's a point where I'm kind of nodding my head, and then I like.
It's like a more extreme, it's like a more extreme nod or rock a little bit. But the second part is the I can't drive tonight, like obviously, because that musically builds up to that.
Yeah,
also
it's great. It's great. Great. Is there anything else to say? And can we spoil what we're going to talk about next? Oh, we should also rank these. Right now we only have one song, so we can't rank it against anything else.
Yeah, I think we should do it every single time. We should rank it, like re-rank it.
Yeah, we rank it.
I mean,
so right now this is the best.
This is the best and worst Joan of Arc song
that we've talked about.
Yeah.
How do you think it will shape up? Do you think it will be?
I think it'll be up there. It's a good song. It's a really good song.
Yeah, I think it's on one of my favorite Joan of Arc albums.
Yeah.
As of right now. And I think that right now it's definitely top 10, 20.
Yeah. It's very hard to choose though, because all Joan of Arc songs are incredible, as a real Joan of Arc fan comes to understand.
I also think the ranking will get very complicated, because I think it will be three-dimensional, because there are songs that are good in different ways.
Yeah, definitely. For different situations and everything.
This is good in a way where like I think they're like beautiful Joan of Arc songs, and then there are like kind of trolly Joan of Arc songs, and then there are songs that are both.
Yeah, they're also just like there's like songs that are more energetic. And like or narrative, and like then there's other ones that are just really strange, even if they're not trolly, they're just really strange, and like those feel like they can't entirely be compared.
In a way, I can see 9/11 2 being like a #1 spot for me, but like if I compare that to this song's beauty, it's like
I know what you mean. I know exactly what you mean. I'm still trying to wrap my head around "No Corporate News is Good News." That one to me is the strangest Joan of Arc song. So I feel like I understand.
Anyways, it's nice to talk to you. Also, we haven't counted, but how many about Joan of Arc songs do you think there
are? There's hundreds. There's got to be hundreds.
They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
They've been around for like 20 years.
9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14.
A little over 20 years, I think.
They have 15 studio albums.
Yeah, plus they've got like some rarities albums too.
Yeah.
I don't know if those are getting like pumped in there, but
no.
I mean, also, they'll just jam too. So there's that, Yeah.
And it's also interesting seeing their live shows, because like you'll hear some stuff that maybe you haven't heard on an album before, and then it'll pop up on an album later.
Yeah,
which is really great. Like I loved going to see them before they released 1984. And
Oh,
then
yeah.
basically there's just like a full album of those very strange.
Yeah, the spoken word interlude kind of things.
What's that lyricist's name?
It's like Melina out. It's Auskatesis. It's. I think it's a Greek name. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I've had trouble trying to figure out what.
Yeah, but she's incredible.
Yeah, she's definitely definitely. I feel like breathes a lot of fresh air. I feel like where she was added, it gets a little esoteric. I like Blue Moon. Gets a little esoteric.
Yeah.
And then she gets pulled in, and it's even more esoteric, but in a much different.
Her stories are more grounded, even if like the way that they're kind of expressed are a little esoteric.
Yeah, her voice is very strange.
Yeah, it's very good though. It works for what it's like, the appropriate counterpoint to Tim Kinsella, I would say.
Very like hearty. It's like drinking like a real bitter tea.
Yeah, that's a good way to describe it.
It's harsh, but very sweet.
Yeah, it's like hard. Yeah, bitter tea is a good way to describe it, because it's like harsh, but it's not gonna like hurt going down. You know, it's not like nails on a chalkboard.
No.
Like Tim's scream can sometimes get a little
nails on a chalkboard.
Get a little more literally harsh. Yeah, like the harshness that she can provide is a little more subtle, I would say.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Anyways, thanks for tuning in.
Yeah. Goodbye, everyone.